Hi, my name is Jerry Lawler. I've been a licensed pilot for 50 years, and I want to welcome you to Tomsaviation. When I was a kid, I had a burning desire to be an airline pilot. I didn't want to be a fighter pilot, I wanted to be an airline pilot. I learned to fly at a local airport when I was in college. That was in the 1959, and the airlines were not hiring in those days. The jets were coming on and they were flying twice as many people, twice as fast, so there was no need for pilots at the time, and pilots were being furloughed. Well, the jets started making money for the airlines, and so they started hiring pilots again. And I got hired in the early 60s with TWA, and I started work on the Lockheed Constellation, the 4-engine propeller plane. TWA had not hired pilots in 7 years, so I got hired at the beginning of a big hiring campaign, and seniority is the key in the airlines. And my seniority graduated very quickly. I went from the Constellation to first officer on a Conrad 80, which was a 4-engine jet. After a year and 10 days, I became a captain. I was 28 years old. A captain on a 4-engine jet was rather unheard of in those days. I then flew the line for a year, and they asked me to be an instructor pilot on the Conrad 80. So I went down to our training center and spent some time down there, but I enjoyed line flying more than being in the simulator and shooting takeoffs and landings with the other person flying. So I went back to the line and ended up becoming a captain on several more airplanes. I have 9 type ratings. Type rating is the term that allows you to fly captain on that airplane. You go through extensive training and testing on that. And I have type ratings on the Conrad 80, Conrad 990, the Boeing 747, 767, 757, 707, 727, 720, and I also have a type rating on the Lockheed L1011, the TriStar. So I have been through a lot of training, and coming from the civilian ranks, I did it, and I know anybody can do it. TWA was a great airline to work for. We not only flew in the United States, but we flew all around the world. Howard Hughes owned us at the time, and Howard was a pilot, and he respected aviators, and so the corporate culture at TWA was to respect the pilots, and captain's authority was very, very sacred. I also joined the Airline Pilots Association, or ALPA, and I had a job for almost every year that I was a member of it for 35 years. I ended up on a thing called a pilot training board, where we had 3 management pilots and 2 ALPA pilots managed the training and checking at TWA, and I was proud to have been part of that for 11 years. So I have extensive background in training, and I really enjoyed it. In 1985, TWA was purchased by Carl Icahn, a corporate raider. I knew that this was not going to be good for the airline, so I started a aviation training business called AvTest, and we specialized in training pilot applicants for the airlines, the entrance exam called the flight engineer exam in those days, and then for people that were already pilots and needed their airline transport pilot rating. So we specialized in doing the flight engineer written and the ATP, or the airline transport pilot written. And over the years I've trained thousands of pilots, many of which are flying for the airlines today. Flying has been very rewarding to me, both financially and for job satisfaction. I learned to fly during a slow period in the airlines. They weren't hiring, and although the airlines are once again in a slow period, I think this is an excellent time to think about a career in aviation. There's there's definitely going to be a need of pilots in the future. It's a great, rewarding career. Learn to fly. It's fun. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to thank Tomsaviation for the opportunity to express my love of aviation. I hope that you will enjoy Tom Aviation and enjoy a wonderful career flying airplanes.